and political strategist Jeanette Hoffman is joining us here on Connecting America this morning. Jeanette, thanks for being here. Talk to us about the reaction to this, particularly in Congress, at the House, the U.S. House, after Charlie Kirk was shot. We saw that request for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk, and then it kind of descended into some shouting.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, this is a national tragedy at a time where our country feels so divided on the right and on the left. What happened with Charlie Kirk, I think so many of us are mourning him, his actions, what he's done as a patriot, and his feeling for his poor family, his very young family. This is a 31-year-old man who didn't deserve to die. Um, Talking about the political reaction, I think there are those who feel like their rhetoric against people like Charlie Kirk and against Republicans have been so heated to the point that the desensitization, the dehumanizing of Republicans, calling them Nazis, calling them fascists, all that kind of all those words contributed to the violence against someone like Charlie Kirk. And not to say that political violence does not happen against the left. It does. We saw the Minnesota legislators, the violence against them. We saw, Nancy Pelosi's house was broken into. Gretchen Whitmer was kidnapped. But lately, I think there's a feeling that the rhetoric against President Trump and his followers has been increasingly violent and desensitizing and using words that should never be used against American politicians.
Yeah, I don't think either side has a monopoly on the, heated political rhetoric. I think that, we're certainly living in a time where of in tremendous vitriol. And it was interesting. We talked to Joe Walsh, former congressman, former Tea Party congressman, briefly MAGA, before he decided that he wanted to leave the MAGA mindset and become a Democrat. He was good friends with Charlie Kirk. He was a mentor to him. And he said that Charlie Kirk leaned into it. I mean, as we know, he said provocative things. He said extremist things. He was always, though, open to discourse. He invited debate from people who disagreed with him. He had a banner that said, "Prove me wrong," and would talk or debate anybody. Jeanette, what do you think it was about him that so appealed to young men, particularly some teenage and college age men right now?
Because he was effective, Allison. He would bring the debate to college campuses and he wouldn't talk at people, he would talk with people, and he would really spur a meaningful debate with young people, with people his age, because he was a young person as well, right? I mean, when he started Turning Point USA, he was quite young, and his organization was full of young Republican activists, young conservative activists. And you don't have to take my word for it. Look at Pew Research polls in the past several years. The trending of young males and Gen Z moving to the Republican Party has been a 40-point swing, and that's really dramatic. And I can definitely attribute that to the work of Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk to bring young people into the Republican Party and talk about issues that have never been talked about on college campuses that usually tend to lean left.
Where do you see this void being filled by someone who comes along behind Charlie Kirk? Are there other young people, you think, who will be able to adequately appeal to that generation and pick up the mantle where he has left off?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think, listen, that is the beauty of what Charlie Kirk did. He built this organization, Turning Point USA, that was full of young people, motivated people, and I think his death, as horrible and untimely as it is, will spur more people into action. And what he said was, if we don't talk and we don't communicate and we don't have discourse and disagreement, it will lead to political violence. And unfortunately, that can't happen. This needs to be foreshadowing a turning point in our nation where we engage in more civil debate and not resort to political violence.
All right, Jeanette, thank you for being here in the aftermath of this horrible shooting. We appreciate it.